Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Vandana Atara Nora, and thank you so much for joining today's cord cutting ritual with Archangel Michael and Master Merlin. Can you all hear me okay? Awesome. Hi, Maya. Nice to see you. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you too. I'm so glad you made it. Yay. So please go ahead and find your chat box and let me know what it is that you are ready, willing, and able to finally clear, release, let go of, heal, and transmute into something better that can actually serve you. So is that a person? Is it a place? Is it a thing? Is it something in this lifetime or is it something from a past lifetime? Go ahead and grab your journal, take some notes throughout, because what I'll be doing is offering you a nice smorgasbord, a buffet of different ways, different methods that you can clear the past, clear what's no longer working for you, never has, never will, right? So there's not just one correct way. There's no such thing as right, wrong, good, or bad anyway. Everything, as we know, is just energy, right? And so energy can never be born or die, be created, destroyed. It's always here, right? It's always here to support us. So go ahead and put in the chat box. Is it a person? Is it a situation? Is it uh, something or someone that is wrapped around you or corded, attached to you that you can't seem to break free of? And this doesn't mean when you cut cords, and we'll talk more about that as well, but it doesn't mean that this person, that you have to leave this person or this person has to physically leave you. So cord cutting or clearing or melting or whatever terminology you'd like to use that you feel comfortable with, it's really about letting go, but it also is about healing and staying and making the relationship better or asking for the relationship to heal, especially when we're overlit by our spirit guides and allies like Michael and Merlin, who are teaming up, I think, together for the first time ever. I don't know if anyone else is calling them in as a team, as a tag team, but I love both of them, and I know you do too. So let me go ahead and read the chat, and we are recording, so that's great. So, yeah, thanks, Susan. Susan saying release. I'd like to release all the loss, grief, and sadness. Is this attached to a particular person? Is it a group of people? Is it an organization? Is it someone you know or you knew? It's really important to get crystal clear and really specific on what you're asking to let go of, what you're asking to transmute, right, into something better. So you don't have to name names. This is, whatever you say here stays here, of course, but it's really good to get really clear on what it is or who it is that is just kind of attached to you or corded to you, that it's almost like you don't have peace around the situation, and it could be a dead end relationship or just a toxic person, and it could be more than one. It could be a family member, it could be a past lover, partner, could be someone in your life now, could be, a spouse, or it could be a sibling or an in-law, or it could be a boss, or an old friend that you need to let go of. It You're just not growing. You're not growing together or separately. Like, you're growing in different directions, right? And I'm sure you've experienced that before. Yeah, wow. So thank you for sharing this from your heart. Susan says 72 deaths in this life. That's a lot. I feel like I've stopped counting because there's been so much loss personally in mine. It could be 72, or it could be more, it could be less, but it's amazing that you've actually kept track. So that's something to note. So you'd like to let go or cut cords, and I'll show you different ways that you could do that. Some you might resonate with more than others, but this is good for you to have and to put in your toolbox to add to your toolkit, right? For future reference. So I'll be sending you all of the processes and the exercises and the step-by-step instructions tomorrow when we edit the call, and you'll get the replay along with all the class notes. So don't worry about having to memorize anything or remember any details at all. Okay, I'm going to guide you. I'm your guide, right? Thank you for allowing me to be your guide. But you don't, I'm the physical guide, right? But you know that your spirit guides who are overlighting this session, this group session, are Michael and Merlin. And also Ganesha. It was Ganesha Day yesterday, and I realized that, and I wanted to bring in the spiritual protection and the compassion of the elephant god Ganesha. So we want to say happy Ganesha Day, even though it's a day late. But we're going to ask Ganesha right now to like to remove or cut away any obstacles. And Ganesha uses some of these ancient divination tools, and I'm going to show you what some of them are right now. So this is called an athame, A-T-H-A-M-E. Some people say atame. And this is also something, and this is called also a furba or a kila in Tibetan Buddhism, in Tantric and Vajrayana Buddhism. So I've been a Buddhist for the last like 20 years. This wasn't my particular practice, Tibetan Buddhism, but this is something that I was given in a modern mystery school when I was initiated many, many years ago. And I thought, what is this? This looks really scary, first of all. And can I use this myself to empower myself? And I didn't think I needed it at that time. This was many, many years ago. And the person who initiated me said, and gave me this as a gift, said, you will know when the right time is. You will know how to use it, when to use it, and where to use it. So this is just one of the things, one of the ways that you can clear yourself. I also wanted to show you the tool, some other tools like the pendulum, which I know that you all have, and you know how to use it for yes and no, right? And we'll be doing this to locate where the cords are embedded. Sometimes they are locked into a particular place, like a chakra or a subchakra or a part of your body that you're not even aware of. So we're going to be doing some energy scanning and a little bit. If you know what energy scanning is, or if you're an energy healing practitioner, just let me know in the chat box. Because if you don't formally, that's okay. It's just really using your intuition to confirm what you already know is true for you. So that's the dowsing, that's the pendulum, because sometimes we're clueless, right? Because we're living in our heads and there's a disconnect to our hearts, right? So, and then just a couple of other tools, selenite wand. So if you have any kind of crystal wand, there's Susan's, awesome. Maya, hopefully you have something with you that you can use. And you know what? It's okay if you don't, because we're going to just call in the etheric version of whatever tool we're asking for. And this is primarily for finding invisible cords, because sometimes they're very tricky, and they're buried so deeply that we can't even find it. But if you don't have, this is another one of my favorites that I use for cutting. And for removing any obstacles, right? So that's another one that I really like. Okay, I think that Maya, can you chat in what you would like to receive today? And if you can find the chat box, just type it in, or you can also, I think there's a way to just chat it in privately. But either way, it's really just the three of us today. There are other people that signed up that live in other continents, so they weren't able to join us. Yeah, Maya, if you want, you can just chat in, because like, what is it, a person? Is it a place? Is it a situation? Is it more than one person? Because I'm going to be guiding you through several different cord cutting rituals. You'll have the opportunity to clear more than one person that's just not supporting you, that's just not in your life anymore. Someone you haven't actually closed the door with completely. So the door is still a little bit wide open, and that's preventing you possibly from inviting in and receiving new new people in your life that will really serve and support you, that will love and appreciate you and all that. So sometimes we think we're done with a person from the past that maybe we think we have karma with or we knew in a past life, but we haven't really closed the door, so there's no closure. So when we cut cords with this person or these people or these situations, it actually gives us space, gives us breathing space, and it allows us to find ourselves again and to be free of that enslavement or that entrapment. So Maya says she doesn't know, and that's totally fine. It could be there could be a block, so I'll ask Ganesha to come in and help you to get clear today. So by the end of the call, you should have a little bit more clarity and more openness and more space. Is there a person? Let's see. Maya says she has to clean herself every day from influences. Yeah. And being an empath, and we both can relate, right, Susan? Like we're all empaths here. And sometimes being an empath is not easy because we absorb others' stress, pain, trauma, addictions, depressions, and all of that. And we think mistakenly that it's ours, but it's not. And so, like, probably 99% of everything that you're struggling with doesn't even belong to you. So, are you willing to know and trust that that's true? So anywhere you're not, we say rich. So that's our clearing statement. And that stands for release, clear, heal, and integrate, right? So we want to take back our powers, but also release and give back any energies or memories that don't belong to us. So that's really important to know. So I think we can get started now. If you have any other questions or during the rituals, not during, but after each ritual, I would love for you to feel comfortable and safe enough with me where you can just chat in the chat box, type in a message about how you're feeling or what has shifted, what energy has lifted, etc. Okay? So just know that I'm here. And if you even feel a need to unmute your microphone, you can do that too. Okay,
Hi,
doke?
Vandana. I have a quick question. Could you
Yeah.
please restate the clearing statement, which was release?
Yes.
Yes,
Release. Well, R for release, I for integrate, C for clear, and H for heal.
excellent. Thank you. I just missed it the first time. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a much longer one, but we won't go into that today probably because then you'll wonder what each one means, and then we'll be here for 5 hours. So I want to be mindful of your time as well. So thank you. And then there's more to that, but that can be another time. So just let me know if you could see my screen right now. And I want to go to, yep, everyone can see my screen. It's gonna be a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Yep. Okay, so it feels like you ladies know this, but it's always good to learn more because that actually helps our brain, our cognitive functioning. And it's also good to see the archangels and the ascended masters from a different point of view, slightly like from an upgraded point of view, right? Different perspective. So the first angel we know created by God is Michael, the leader of the archangels. We know he's in charge of protection, courage, strength, truth, and integrity. Michael protects us physically, emotionally, psychically. When it comes to angels, Archangel Michael is the leader of all angels, the prince of the heavenly host. So he's way up there, right? And we know the Hebrew meaning for his name is who is like God. So usually they show, there are many artistic renditions of Michael being this blonde, long-haired, muscular, like a Fabio. I always make a joke about that. But we don't really know exactly what Michael looks like, but we just know that this is a very tall, a very big spirited, very wide, expansive wings, and he holds a sword in one hand, and then it's shown that he is pinning down a demon with his foot. So he can multitask at the same time, which is kind of cool. So many reports seeing the color blue around him. So blue is a good color for you to wear. And I know that some of you have a lot of blue in your wardrobe and in your jewelry and accessory collection. And Michael is said to help with the root and the throat chakra. And that's sometimes where we have a lot of sort of like suffocating energy that holds us back and makes us swallow our words and like literally hold back the truth, hold back from saying what we really want to say, what we wish we could say, and really mean what we want to say. So Michael may visit you when you need encouragement to make really important decisions, to restore your faith, and to just reassure you that the angels are really watching over you. This is not just your imagination. And he also oversees light workers, and which we are, and our soul purpose. So his chief function is to clean up the earth from and all its inhabitants of any toxic energy associated with fear, any lower vibrational energy. And Michael carries a flaming sword that he uses to cut through the etheric cords and protect us from negative entities. When he's around, and if you want, you can maybe close your eyes for a moment, your physical eyes, and open up your sort of inner eye, your mind's eye or your spirit eye, and see if you can imagine, which really helps me to envision spirit guides, is usually you'll see sparkles or sparks, flashes of bright blue or purple light. So you want to call on Michael if you find yourself also under psychic attack, or if you feel you lack commitment, motivation, and dedication to your strongest beliefs, or you need some courage or direction or clarity, especially just more energy, you're feeling kind of low, more vitality, self-esteem, and worthiness, right? So you're just not feeling good about yourself. So Michael will help you to realize your life's purpose and kind of get you back on your path. So Michael is invaluable to light workers and really helps us to protect our space. Also, Michael helps us with spirit release if you feel that there are intruders or invaders, spiritual piggybackers, or hijackers that are kind of like they're attracted to your light. So Michael asks that we be organized and find a simple, rhythmic, orderly routine in our everyday life. And he encourages us to create more constancy, dependability, and trust in order to not only survive, but to thrive. So he is a spiritual force that helps us create a really healthy foundation that gives us consistent stability and strength every day. So Archangel Michael represents physical and spiritual protection. Okay. Also, when we call Michael, we can just say his name 3 times. It helps us to release and to realize any doubts and fears or any issues that may be affecting your self-esteem. And his energy, it's really encouraging and it's really motivating us, especially when you find yourself at a crossroads. Also, when you're afraid, when you find yourself paralyzed with fear, Michael has the ability to vacuum out all the toxins, the negative entities, the negative mindsets from you and all around you, like the people that you live with or work with, as well as you. But it all starts with you, right? So wherever you're vibrating on the vibrational scale, you'll naturally, the universe will mirror that in a partner or in a friend or a neighbor or a coworker. So you want to really check in, with really scan your field and your aura every day. And he'll shield you from any lower energies. So you just ask him for protection and he will be there, right? Good. So let's go back. You don't need a formal prayer or invocation to align with the help of Archangel Michael. And by the way, Michael has assistants as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. I'll introduce you to them as well. So Michael doesn't come alone. Just know that. Remember that. And you can say something as simple as, Archangel Michael, please connect with me now, or Archangel Michael, protect me now, or protect us now, and be really, really clear and specific when requesting divine assistance. Okay? Any questions so far? We're good? All right. Just put them in the chat box if you think of something after. So let's talk about Merlin. Merlin rarely spent time indoors, so he frequently left Camelot to meditate by himself in the forest and only went back when he was called upon by Arthur and others for assistance. For this reason, it's best to invoke Merlin when you're outside, especially among trees. But it actually works indoors as well. You can even, if you can't get outside, like if the weather is bad, you can just sit by a windowsill. Before you even call on Merlin, please state and know your intentions. Merlin already knows who you are. He knows why we've gathered here today. There's nothing he doesn't know. The situations you're requesting help with and the best solution, the highest solution. But he's going to wait before approaching you, first scanning you to see if you're a student who's willing to learn over the long haul, like make a long-term commitment, or if you're just somebody kind of dabbling in healing, or you only call upon him when life gets really rough, but you never contact him any other time. So Merlin understands, who's serious and who's not. So you don't want to call upon him if you're looking for a quick fix. So Merlin comes to those who have a strong desire, a sincere desire to learn the spiritual secrets of alchemy, divine magic. And alchemy is like turning copper into gold, lemons into lemonade. It's the alchemical art of transmutation. So Merlin is the one in charge of the divine magic and the manifestation skills that you might be missing. And, this will be used in the light and not for personal glorification. And he emphasizes that these skills must never be used to harm or destroy anyone or anything physically or emotionally. Merlin's knowledge is his prized possession, right? And he imparts that knowledge, that lost knowledge from other lifetimes, right, and timelines, and he shares it willingly and generously with the hearts that are loving and pure. It doesn't hurt to call Merlin, even if you're not sure that you're ready, because he knows. He knows why you're here, because someone said on the call earlier they weren't really sure what chords there were or who this person needed to get free of or cut cords with. But Merlin knows, so we want to ask Merlin. Just simply think his name and mentally ask Merlin to come and assist you. You can do that even right now for a moment. If you're open, your heart is open, you're not in your head, and if you are, you're in the beginner's mind, the no mind, but the open heart, right? The flower heart, the lotus heart. So if you're ready to learn and work, you're going to feel his presence, and you'll hear some type of message or some type of guidance. But if you're not ready, that's okay too. Merlin will guide you to an archangel or a master who can prepare you for readiness. Either way, we want to thank Merlin for his loving care today. So, how did Merlin and Michael team up? Well, the good news is you don't have to choose to work with or ask for help from only Merlin or only Michael, when you can have both overlight you. So here's how you could do this in your own spiritual practice at home. So we know that Master Merlin, or most of us know that Merlin is considered a sage and a psychic. He's known to have helped King Arthur during the 5th century Camelot in Wales. I think, Susan, you know a lot about that. Some people believe that Merlin is just a legendary figure, but others really know the truth, that Merlin is a mentor, a guide, and he can be called upon any place, anytime, anywhere for spiritual assistance. He represents the inner realms, so our inner world, our inner strength and power, and all forms of intuitive development. And for this reason, you may find Merlin around psychics, mediums, or those who are interested in metaphysical topics. So if you are psychic or you consider yourself to be psychic or telepathic, then you already work with Merlin. Merlin's often also portrayed. So Michael has his sword, his blue flaming sword of truth and justice, right? But Merlin also has a sword, right? It's more of a wand, though, which he uses for magic. Um, and he's also linked to Excalibur, the legendary sword, right? So he doesn't always wield it, but Merlin is sometimes associated with a magic wand, a crystal ball, which I also teach if you're interested in learning how to offer crystal ball readings to your clients or friends. And he's also associated with the Holy Grail, of course. And Merlin is a shapeshifter. He's a scryer, a diviner, and he can see the future. So we know that with Michael, who's that spiritual protector and warrior armed with a sword given to him by God, Goddess, Creator, his energy is fierce and also loving. And then Michael banishes fear. We talked about that before and reminds us that light is always more powerful than darkness. So when you work with both forces of light, with Merlin and Michael, this is offering you a unique combination of strengths and energies. They're both warriors in their own way, but Michael, besides that flaming sword, he also carries a spear, a shield, an orb, and a staff to symbolize his authority and sacred role to protect all souls against evil, and of course to protect the weak and the vulnerable and the sick, to protect us all against harm. So we have Merlin for wisdom and magic, connection to nature, discipline and transformation, right? And then we have Michael for protection and strength, healing and deliverance, justice and guidance. So since Michael has always been an archangel, you can ask for protection in the astral realms when you're sleeping or you're having an out-of-body experience. You can also ask for protection from non-serving, less than kind and loving entities in other dimensions and in the spirit world, right? And you can ask Michael to help you channel your spirit guides. But Merlin is from the earth. So Merlin had lifetimes on earth. So he has more of an earth energy and he became self-realized and enlightened. He became an enlightened ascended master. So Merlin would be the guide that you want to call in when you find yourself on earth, like stuck or blocked or at a crossroads or a transition, right? Caught between worlds, the past and the future, and when you're really feeling unsafe or uncomfortable. And so Merlin will help more with physical affairs in your physical body as well as on the physical earth. And also he'll help to deeply connect you with your loving earth ancestors. So you see the difference between the two. And the difference can be the invocation request can be something like this when you call them in together, because you're gaining the perspective and the help from earth and angelic allies, right? Because we're spirit in human form, but our bodies are made of earth and stars, stardust, right? So Michael and Merlin, you could place your hands over your heart space now. Rub them together if they're cold to just heat them up. Please team up and place a shield of love and light all around us. Help us to realize, help us to release and let go of non-serving cords and attachments that we do not have the will or the strength to do alone on our own. In our name, please do this work for us. Please do this gently and safely for everyone's highest and greatest good for all sentient beings, so we may all benefit and heal our soul contracts. Please do this in our name. And we turn this over to you. We turn this pain over to spirit. We unburden ourselves because we can no longer carry all of this heaviness. With you both as our witness under your highest guidance. And you can say amen, aho, ashe, whatever it is that you say. Thank you. And they both carry the power tools, right? So Michael the sword, Merlin the wand. Now, this team is so much more powerful than if you just called one or the other. Why? Because if you know what it feels like to be under spiritual warfare, you definitely need more. I don't want to use the word ammunition, but you need more support. You need even more protection. So you need the alchemy to turn the situation around. And you also need the strength and the protection against any forms of lower vibrational negative energy, right? And so also the wisdom of Merlin and the correct action of Merlin and the self-empowerment from Michael. So we want to work with both guiding forces, earth and heaven, because they both provide different forms of spiritual releasement from non-serving forces on earth and in heaven and in every dimension. Good. So now we're going to, any questions? Let me look at the chat box. Do, 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 do. Have some feelings by betrayal from Merlin. Does that mean that you remember or you're sensing something about Merlin from another lifetime or another planet where you were let down with him? Because you're saying you lived with him. So please let me know in the chat and we'll get around that. We'll be able to not dance around it, but actually get to the root of that. Okay, Maya? That's really important because maybe there are, and I totally believe you, but there could be sometimes there are other forces at work. So that's why we want to call him the highest version of Merlin. It is possible that it could be a flashback from a lifetime when there could have been like a false Merlin or an imposter Merlin or somebody that you thought was Merlin but didn't turn out to be, that was masked as Merlin. That's the information I'm getting for you. It could be true or it might not be true for you. So take it or leave it. But these are all important questions to ask, not to assume that everything is sort of written in stone, because there are always other perspectives and possibilities. So we always want to leave it wide open and say, I'm aware of what I'm aware of. I trust that. And what else is possible? And how does it get any better than that? Right? And then just allow the highest version of your highest self, your higher power, to help you get really crystal clear and to help you trust your heart, your gut, and your intuition mostly. Yeah. Good. And Maya says that she was the lady of the lake. Okay, no wonder that you're here with us. That's pretty awesome. So thank you, my lady. Wow. So we know that there are physical, like not physical, they're etheric, of course, but we know that there are invisible threads that connect us to our past, to people and places, and they're energy cords. Some are good, some are really loving and beautiful. We want to keep those cords. We don't want to cut away all of our cords, right? I think that's important to note and to remember. Some cords are sources of upliftment and enlightenment and peace and purity and uh, love and integrity. And others can actually drain us and cloud our mental and emotional perceptions. So let's let's just do a little energy cord 101. What is an energy cord? How do we understand it? How can we work with it, right? So we know they come in different forms. They're not just connections, they're energy channels, as you can see in the picture, hopefully. So you could think of them as just invisible threads. Some are rooted in negative thought patterns, and then others stem from some type of energetic attack or past life experiences. These cords form quietly, often unnoticed, but what happens when we don't clear them and we're not aware and conscious, and when we're clueless and sleeping, when we're not awakened? They can tie us to those old ancient fears, traumas, and old patterns. And most of them are inherited and passed on to us from our ancestors, right? Or it could be an earth or a star ancestor. But oftentimes, over time, they impact us deeply, creates a strain on our relationships. It prevents us from growing, evolving, and ascending into our highest potential, right? And even our spiritual journey can get derailed. It almost seems like there's some kind of weird interference or self-sabotage energy. And that's because you probably have cords that you're unaware of. The cord's influence is subtle, yet, as you can see, super powerful. And they can keep us stuck in cycles and looping systems and programs and patterns that don't work for us. So it's kind of like they're spinning us around in circles. So it's really important to understand how they shape our lives and our emotions and our relationships. Good. Good. This is a little chart I made for you. So let's go over this together before we dig deeper and do the actual work. So we want to detect invisible ties. These are methods to identify energetic cords in different situations. So if you look at the left side of the graph, you'll see emotional disturbances. So what method would we want to use to detect those energetic cords, the emotional disturbances that keep us up at night, that create nightmares and bad dreams and won't let us sleep? Number one, we want to pay attention to persistent negative emotions or mood swings and just reflect on whether these feelings are really ours or are they influenced by external energies. If we have recurring negative thought patterns, we want to just observe like a witness, right? From a higher point of view, we want to observe those thought patterns without judging them, right? We want to look for the repetitive patterns, the negative mindsets, because we have these blind spots. We all have them. And we're not even aware that we're retelling the same old negative stories, right? We're so used to, and we're so attached to our own stories. That's another cord. We can cord ourselves, to our thoughts, and right? How we see the world, how we identify. And there's so much more. So think about that one for a moment. We're usually unaware that we're even doing that until somebody else bravely points out to us our patterns and our mindset. Physical discomfort. There's no clear cause. You've been to the doctor, but you're getting these weird headaches or fatigue or maybe fibromyalgia. And these can sometimes be linked to energy cords that are actually attached to your aura. Maybe you feel drained after social interactions, especially with energy vampires, right? I'm sure we all know a few, or we all knew a few in our lives that every time, like, sort of like before we saw them, we're feeling fine, positive, hopeful. And then after, we just need to lay down and take a Tylenol or something. So, drained after social interactions with certain people that are always complaining, that always see the glass as half empty instead of half full. And then that creates cords, believe it or not. And these cords can linger and they can stay. They can stay forever until we actually consciously do something about it. Also, difficulty moving on from past relationships. They can't stop obsessing or thinking or dreaming about these people. There's an emotional, there's a heart cord, right? Or you just miss them so much that you can't stop thinking about them. And that's another looping system. That means there's a cord still there that you never really got over this person. This person is still with you. There's a cord. Unexplained fear or anxiety. Uh, for that, you want to just monitor any phobias, any unexplained fears or anxieties, and these can be indicators of past life blocks or psychic attacks. Do you have any unexplained fear or anxiety or phobias? Put that in the chat box. For me, it's swimming, and there, just from childhood stuff that happened to me. But there should be no logical explanation for why it still holds me back. So I have a cord to swimming pools or oceans, okay, when the water gets deep. So what is your phobia that you are corded to? Do you see that you can have so many different kinds of cords, especially that cord to our negative mindset? Okay. Feeling uneasy in certain locations. You know, when you kind of feel icky, that icky energy? You want to pay attention to your feelings in different environments, in different countries or different cultures. Maybe there's an unease or a discomfort when you visit a particular place in the world. You're traveling, and that could signal that you have a cord to that place or that space. Interesting, right? What about resistance to change? Just notice, are you resistant to receiving and allowing in and embodying the energy of positivity, of hopefulness and tenacity? It can be a sign of cords that keep you just locked up, like there's a bondage or yeah, there's a bondage, there's a tie to these old patterns, even old personas, personalities, and stories that you've taken on. So you want to pay attention to all of these things. Any questions or any comments? Let's see, there are two new messages. Tiny places, yeah, like the feeling of being swallowed up or being buried under the ground or being suffocated or being crushed. All of these, it's like that's a cord too, like a claustrophobic fear. And also a strong feeling, yeah, again, of betrayal. So that keeps coming up for you. So let's take a look at that. So are you corded to the energy of betrayal? Let's take out our pendulums and as a group, let's do this together. So I have mine already tuned to yes to the right and then no to the left. So let's ask. Let's do this together. Does she have a cord to betrayal? And then there's another way, which is like, I don't know, which would be straight. I'm getting a yes. Type in your response in the chat box because I'm on another screen now and I can't see your faces. But I'm getting a very strong yes. So it's like the letdown, it's the betrayal, it's the disillusionment, and the part of you and abandonment that's also there for you. Very strong yes, Susan is saying. Maya, do you have your pendulum nearby? Are you able to douse for yourself? Because ultimately it's really up to ourselves. I mean, it is great to get confirmation from um, spiritual sisters, and, light workers. But yeah, yep, definitely there's a chord for bridges. So we already found one. And you know what? There could be hundreds of chords. And since we're only here for 2 hours, we're going to see what we can find. We're going to see if we can release them, because sometimes it's these chords. I know this is going to sound wild, but sometimes these chords actually serve us. They serve a purpose. It's called a secondary gain. And it keeps us safe so that we won't have to be rejected or abandoned or betrayed again. So sometimes we keep these chords for that reason, because it might feel too scary to be without them. Because sometimes the chords feel like they're protecting us, but they're actually not. They're really diminishing us, right? Do you agree? So ask yourself now, what burdens am I carrying? Where in my life do I feel weighed down? This is about self-inquiry. And we want to tap into the field of everything, the field of creation. This is a rich source of information about your emotional and spiritual state. So the negative chords and energies usually leave a distinct signature in your space. So pay attention to your emotions as we proceed. Let's go to the next page. And one more thing before we go into the ritual. Cord cutting can revolutionize and save relationships. It's not just about cutting ties. It's about your health, your mental health, your emotional health and well-being. It's about your self-empowerment. And it's about removing these invisible burdens from your relationships. Then suddenly there's all this infinite space for growth, for mutual understanding, and for deeper bonds and connections, spiritual, emotional connections. So it's also about maintaining your energy hygiene. It's sort of like a regular upkeep. It's a maintenance plan for your soul. Just like you care for your body, you wash your face, you shower, you brush your teeth, every day. Your energy field needs this attention too. So regular cleansing prevents the buildup of negativity. It's almost like you live in a house for, let's say, 20 years, and you only clean your house once a year. How much dirt and grime and debris do you think has accumulated? And how much harder is it and longer is it going to take to do a deep cleaning, right? It'll take forever, right? So that's the idea here, is we want to get into this mindfulness practice of self-reflection. We don't want to be armored or shielded by these negative cords. We want to stay vigilant and aware of what's happening. And also not only what's happening in your external relationships, but also your most important relationship with yourself. Okay, let's begin. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Before you close your eyes, actually, if you have a blue or a silver candle, if not, a white candle will do. You can always go on Amazon and get one, but that's for Merlin, to bring in that Merlin magic energy, that alchemy energy. So if you want, you can light a candle, you could dim the lights in your room, and just take some nice, refreshing deep breaths in and out. breathing in a fresh burst of energy, the energy of renewal and rebirth, and then exhaling and letting go of that old toxic energy like smoke, and let it just like steam, let it just release from your mouth, from your open lips, and just open and make a big blowing out sound, right? And that exhale should be 5 times longer than the inhale. And we're going to begin because this is actually going to regulate your vagus nervous system. So you want to begin with visualization and just get out your pendulum again. See if you can picture the cords attached to your field. See, where are there cords? Are they around my neck and throat? Is that why I don't like to wear scarves or turtleneck tight-fitting sweaters? Is that an old witch wound or what's going on there? Where is the cord? Is it over my chest and heart? Or is it over my head? That's why I have all these ruminating thoughts that keep me up at night? Or is it on the left side? On the right side? And then rub your hands together to warm them up and activate your healing hands, your palm chakras. And after you do that a few times, just run your own healing hands like a few inches away from you, not touching you. Where does it feel colder or hotter or tighter or lighter? You can go over your arms and then bend over and just scan your legs, your tummy, your womb chakra, and just notice what you notice. And let's set our intention. Please go ahead and type in the chat box, what is your intention for today's session? Because if you don't have a clear, strong, specific intention, then you might not receive as much as you could receive if you did. The universe loves clarity and simplicity. So is this a past relationship that you'd like to cut cords with? Or a lingering worry? And picture the cords attached to your field where, just find one cord for now. Where does this one cord connect to you? And can you breathe into that space, that place where the cord is attached to? Sometimes cords grow from the inside out. What does that mean? That means it's a self-generated cord. That means you've created that as sort of like a cushion or a safety net. So nobody can ever get too close or be that intimate with you. And that happens when we're betrayed, abandoned, rejected, or let down. So is the cord starting? Did it form from the inside of you? Or is it on the outside of you coming from another source? And it's attached to you. I'm getting that maybe it's attached to your navel, your belly button. So just picture and just place your hands over that area and just breathe deeply into that area. And just notice what the cord looks like and feels like. Is it thin or thick? We're going to get into the colors of cords too. This is just a mini practice session. This is just me helping you adjust to being in your body again, fully safe and at home in your body. How does it feel when you envision these ties? And you could just imagine that, your fingers have turned into scissors, and just imagine cutting this cord right now and actually do it. Use your hands mimicking the scissors or envision a beam of light severing them. So let's call in a beam or an orb of light. And that ball, that orb, that sphere of light is a golden orb of light. And this beautiful big ball of light is where you're going to place right over the cord, right? Allow it to hover and dance a little and move a little right in front of that cord. And see these columns of light just radiating out from that orb and melting that cord. And now try cutting it with your fingers that have become scissors and see which one feels better. Sometimes after you cut the cord, there's still some remaining cords, residual cords. And that's when you want to use that beam of light and call it down and ask the consciousness of this orb of light to melt the rest of the cord that's still attached to you and to completely dissolve it from the inside out and from the outside in. Now I want you to reach out and lower your barriers, lower the walls around you physically. Take your hands and lower the shield, the armor, unzip yourself from all of that armor, all the heavy shields that have disconnected you from source, from your spirit guides and your ascended masters, from archangels, from your higher power, which is your higher self and your I am presence. I want you to just lower and peel down, knock down those walls, those barriers around you that keep your light hidden. And visualize a shower of light just washing over you. And just sit back in your chair and allow it to cleanse and purify you. And allow it to leave your aura nice and shiny and bright. But really extend yourself all the way out and just expand up and out and all around you in every direction. How does that feel? Let me take a look at the chat. Susan, how are you feeling? How is that for you? Clearing negative cords with Bill to have, yes, to have clear communication. Very good. Yes, let's see, Maya, yes, yes, love, live. Okay, I think that was in regards to what we were talking about earlier. So this is just a little intro to, it's a warmer upper to get you, to empower you, right? So here's the first step, and I made this graph for you as well. This is a guide, step-by-step instructions on how to identify, sever, and heal energetic cords. Sometimes it's not appropriate to cut cords. Why? Because they can grow back. Sometimes it's more appropriate to melt cords with sunlight, with heat, like you can even call in the great central sun. Um, And also, I like to use angel honey, and I work with the seraphim, which are the six-winged angels. So I ask them sometimes to dispense like a salve. I call it seraphim salve or angel honey, which is kind of like a nectar or a balm. It's very soothing, but it has the power to melt the icy, frozen cords and attachments. Okay, very good. All right. So here's your graph. I'll go over this with you now so you'll have an idea of how to move forward with this practice on your own. So you want to set up a calm and quiet space, set your intention, and identify your cords. Let me go and ask right now. I'm going to stop and ask, where were the cords located? Did you both find at least one cord? So I'll wait for an answer before I continue. Yes, relieving from this betrayal feeling. Relief, yes. Respite for you, Maya. This is my greatest wish and prayer and blessing for you. And it's on its way. You just have to be willing to and be open enough to trust and receive this divine intervention, Maya. So Susan has a cord that she just located. Very good. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, I'm not glad to hear it, but I'm glad that you found it. That's very, this is about taking back our sovereignty, right? Reclaiming our mastery, our power. And so Susan says around her neck, Merlin already dissolved it. Wow, that was really quick. Awesome. I'm very happy to hear that. Maya, have you located a cord yet? You could just let me know. There are no right or wrong answers. What we're doing is we're training ourselves to become conscious, aware, evolved beings of light. So I'll wait until Maya can find her chord. So you want to engage in this meditation and this visualization. We've already done that. And with each chord, you want to release with a long exhale and out breath, just releasing the energy that's been with you in so many lifetimes and that was passed on by your ancestors because they recorded too. If you're recorded, it didn't start with you. Let's be clear on that. You know, it's ancestral, it's generational. So as you cut each cord, you're visualizing releasing that negative energy. And you can also put it in that big orb of light, right? And just allow that light to float away and to return to Creator. And see the cords dissolving or just fading into white light. And you want to imagine a healing light totally enveloping you. And it's not only enveloping you or me, but all of us. And everyone who's actually listening to the replay and watching this replay, because there were tons of other people that signed up that like to listen to the replays over and over and over again until it, sinks in. Some people find the meditations to be incredibly relaxing and can sleep a lot better. So just visualize the feeling, allow yourself to feel, because in order to heal, we must feel. And that light is wrapping around us like a warm garment or a blanket, like a cocoon of light or a bubble of light. And we want to ask Michael and Merlin to, or you could just ask Michael if you want, or just Merlin, to heal the areas where the cords were attached, to smooth and to seal, to heal and seal and kind of patch up, with maybe celestial glue or that honey nectar, that balm from the angels or from Michael, just to kind of seal up any rips, tears, or holes that might, or scars, scar tissue that still might be remaining. And we want to ask your guides, our guides, to seal these areas with positive energy, with love and light, with blessed, sacred energy on the highest frequencies. And then you just want to close the energy, but you always want to say thank you. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing the screen for a moment. Now you could see me full screen before we continue. So Maya says in her tummy, in her belly. Yep, that's where I usually have cords. But then there's a lot of cords that can hide like by our rib cage. So, like right under our breasts. So sometimes those are cords of anger or resentment, making it hard to breathe and take deep breaths. So that's another possible place for a cord. But good. So now we found the cords. We can continue. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So let's see. I think we're ready to almost get started here. But I wanted you to have a background, and I hope this information was really important because these cords can be visual, emotional, energetic. Even if we walk out on the street, someone bumps into us, boom, we can form a cord, right? Or we have a transaction with an old friend or like a phone call, or we bump into them in the street and that's another cord, but that's a positive cord, hopefully, right? But the problem with cords is if we don't keep up with the clearing, with the self-clearing, it's going to leak and drain our life force energy. And it's going to eventually multiply and accumulate until it impacts our physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual health and well-being. Okay, now do you have your crystals? If you do, let me know. Remember, The crystals we're actually creating right now. We're co-creating in our circle of light, in our circle of protection. We're creating an etheric altar, right? So you don't have to have these objects in the physical even to have this work. You can even do this when you're traveling and you're feeling frightened or unsafe in some way. Just call in Michael and Merlin and they will block, and Ganesha, and they will block, any weird entities. It actually happened to me yesterday. I was sitting on the beach with a friend, well, on the boardwalk, and we were sitting on a bench and somebody came very, very close to me. And all of a sudden he just magically turned away. Did it scare me a little? Yeah. Did I remember to call in my helpers? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did I make sure that I was cleared from any cords with this individual? Yeah. And it wasn't even this individual, it was the entities that were corded and attached to this individual. You get me? So if you have an amethyst or black tourmaline, which I love also, this is very grounding, very protective. Let me show you mine. So you can use the black tourmaline. It could be rough or smooth. And this is really good for grounding and protection. Uh, if you want, you can light a candle if you haven't already, but just make sure that it's in a safe place, like far, like at least 6 inches in front of you, so you can't knock it down or anything when you're meditating. So again, you've identified one cord, that's awesome. And I want you to imagine that when we're going to cut the cord, I want you to imagine the associated energy, the energy that you just released and let go of, returning further and further away, out and away from you in all directions, in all timelines, lifetimes, dimensions, galaxies, and realities. Just returning, traveling, and dissolving back into the heart of Source, cleansed and neutral. And we already talked about the ceremonial daggers. So that wand is fine. Susan, I know you have that wand. And the selenite wand, again, this is in Tibetan Buddhism, if you use that, the daggers, the ceremonial daggers called a furba or a kila, they're meant to cut away ignorance. And this is for self-protection. So if you found another cord, and how can you find cords? Well, it's a place in your body that hurts, generally speaking. It's a place where sometimes it just makes you feel off. It makes you feel old. It makes you feel sick or wounded, or it's just a pain. Sometimes it's not even a physical pain. It's a spiritual pain. It's the pain of disconnection. And so disconnection from source, disconnection from our loved ones, disconnection from ourselves. So one more thing, I want you to take a salt bath after this session. And if you live near a body of water, or even if you have a bathtub, you can make imaginary, of course, like an etheric, almost like a little tiny line on the soles of your feet, maybe like an X. And you can imagine that those energies, those impurities and toxins that you've been holding are actually draining into the bathtub or into the ocean or a lake or a swimming pool, as long as nobody else is going to be swimming in it after. But this is your cleansing and your neutralizing part. So let's say this together. I release all negative, all energetic attachments, all parasitic, toxic attachments that no longer serve my highest good. I reclaim my energy in its purest form. If you're a Reiki practitioner or if you practice any kind of energy healing modality or acupuncture, massage, we're channeling healing energy. So we're not just leaving ourselves empty and exposed and open. So once the cord is melted and dissolved completely, that's why you want to light a stick of incense, and you don't want to put it out. And if you're going to sage yourself now, well, for the incense stick, you want to make sure that it burns completely. That's how you know that the cord was removed completely. There's no hint of any remaining cord now. Okay, good. And then also spend some time in nature. One moment. Good. So painting, writing, music, journaling, all of these things I'd like you to do after. I don't want you to just get on with your day if possible. I mean, yes, you need to get on with your day, but I want you to really hold this energy with you with gratitude, because this is actually really happening. It's not an illusion. It's actually really happening that we're doing this work. This work is real. I know, and I can tell you that I've had many cord clearings. You know, when I was starting out as a younger Reiki master teacher, and I saw sign after sign that the cord clearings were working because somebody who was actually attached to me, who posed as a spiritual teacher, I found out that this person actually tuned in and knew what I did and could feel the difference, and this person could not come near me. So that's how I know for sure that this works. Remember, if you have a cord, probably it has to do, like if you have persistent negative emotions like anxiety, right? Like free floating anxiety, just a feeling of depression, sadness, anger, like unexplained rage that lingers, then it's probably coming from a past relationship or a past life event. I mean, it could be even in the womb, right? In utero. And it could have belonged to your mother or your grandmother. So we have plenty of classes about womb trauma as well and birth trauma. So remember, cords of love, you don't want to throw those away. You want to recognize them, you want to maintain them. Okay. Now I'm going to go into the colors and then we'll go even deeper. So, what is visualization and how important is it? Visualization means that you're using all of your psychic senses, your chakras, your awareness, right? To actually see colors. So if you can sense colors, see or feel, or maybe you're a little clairvoyant, right? Or you've had prophetic dreams in your life. This may be helpful. This may be a helpful tool to bring into your cord cutting practice. So I'm going to go over the cord colors right now. So bright red usually means that there's a passionate relationship between you and the person on the other end of the cord. This could be sexual or it could be another kind of intense energy. If it's dark, if it's a dull cord, if it's red or black, crusted or dry, this is generally a very ancient, old, clinging, energetic cord that might have once been a passionate relationship. You may notice also a slow, sludge-like liquid inside, and it may only flow one way. So you definitely want to cut this unhealthy, dying cord, because these very old cords can cause health issues. The other thing to watch out for in a negative cord is a gray or just a dull appearance, like the cord feels lifeless or dull. I'm going to ask you in a minute, so pay attention, please, what your cord looked like. What was the texture and the color? But first, I'll give you a couple of other pointers, okay? Okay. So cord colors and textures that are mostly positive that you don't want to cut. Light to royal blue, swirling, watery, beautiful. These are emotional bonds. And then yellow or fluorescent light or sunlight could be a mental connection between like-minded souls, or just a friendship or a teammate or a colleague. And also yellow is the solar plexus, right? So it could be a positive chord which represents communication, right? So you have really good communication with someone, like you just have really good rapport with someone. And then pink, shimmering, sparkling, or chords that are flexible. This is more of a feminine energy, right? Means that you trust your intuition, you're able to receive intimacy, you don't run away from intimacy and hide. It can also be a romantic relationship, but a loving and safe relationship. White light could be the love from a spirit guide, an ancestor, a guardian angel, a pet. And then a green cord usually is a heart connection with a soulmate, with a family member, or members of the same soul group. We're definitely members of the same soul group, or else we wouldn't be here on the call together. And this can be a cord between mothers and children, or mothers and grandchildren, or just being a mother and mothering everyone, even your spouse. So mothers generally have green cords for their children and also for their life partners. And then purple. Purple is more of a metaphysical, magical relationship between like a teacher and a student, right? Or even your Reiki master if you studied Reiki. Okay, good. Now, to leave off, there are some important reasons why you should cut energy cords and the contents of these: black cords, gray cords, dark cords, large knots, twists like a pretzel twist, large knots that are very hardened and sticky, cords connecting you to negative relationships, the crusty ones, gross, right? The deteriorating ones, the rusty ones, those are called dying cords. They need to be severed. The vampiric cords, right, from vampires, those are the ones that are generally red. And the energy is flowing only one way, from you to the vampire on the other side. That has to be cut immediately. And multiple energy cords that seem to pull you in different directions and cause your head to spin. So that's another kind of cord that's called a multiple energy cord. There's so many different ways to do this, right? But right now, I'm going to ask you to just sit back. You could take your thinking cap off. You don't have to think or remember how to do anything. I'm just going to ask you to, if you're willing, to allow yourself to feel. And before we do that, well, actually, yeah, we'll save the chats for the end. But just this is really for yourself. What kind of texture, that one chord that you found, did you find any other chords right now? Like if your back always hurts, you probably have chords at your back from the past. Something is unresolved. You don't have closure. You didn't receive enough support from the masculine growing up, right? The father wound is still at bay, right? So that's another place, like if wherever you have chronic pain or sensitivity. Okay, good. So we're going to ask permission from the highest of highest, from your highest self and the highest self of the people, the person or the people who are still corded to you. Remember, it could be a place, a geographical location as well. It also can be a situation that was never resolved or healed. And I'm going to ask you to wrap yourself in this sapphire blue shield of protection with Archangel Michael and the magic of Merlin and all the benevolent, kind, compassionate deities that want the best for you, that wish the best for you. And begin by closing your eyes or gazing down at your feet and dropping out of your head into your heart, into your belly, into your dantian, into your seat and feet. And just notice and feel the support of the chair under you, holding you up so you can't fall. And begin to just visualize your aura all around you, the field all around you. See it as a bubble of bright light that starts at the top of your head and travels all the way around you. And it ends right below your feet. And see if you can stretch out your aura even more. Remember, lower any walls or barriers that hide you, that block you, that diminish you, that shrink you. Take your time again and just notice if there are any new chords that you found. And notice especially if there are any X's that are coming now into your imagination. And remember, it's your higher self and their higher self. So there's no ego, there are no hurt feelings, judgments, betrayals, anything like that. There are no hard feelings. There's only just light. There's only light energy. And remember, if you called in one of your exes and this person held a lot of toxic masculinity, right? Or maybe it was your father or the men in your family, a brother, a grandfather, an uncle, a sibling, brother. You want to just give yourself space from this person. So you don't want to talk to this person, not for a while. You want to make sure all the energy settled for both of you. And then you're going to also, this is a great test to see if anything shifted, if they are still in your life. But you always want to give yourself physical space and step away from this person ideally, right? So this person is not in your everyday reality after the cord clearing. And we want to just breathe into and see if you could drink into this very light, very fluffy, very liberating, very soft energy, very feminine energy. And we're going to start the Merlin cord cutting ritual now. Just make sure that you have your objects nearby and that you're in a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. And they say it's best to do this ritual around new or full moons. Also, you can do it really anytime, but at night somehow, if you can do it at night, doesn't have to be midnight, but late at night, even in the wee hours of the morning. So even in the middle of the night, you know, so if you can. So this is when you're the most receptive, right? And this is when you receive all these really beautiful visitations from the spirit world. And you want to have your wand nearby. your candle lit. You want to smudge yourself with sage and a feather, or you just want to light your incense stick and get a bowl of salt water for cleansing, and your favorite essential oil. Lavender, rose, frankincense, sage, all of these are great for purification. So I'm going to do this with you. I'm grabbing not this one, my favorite oil called gentleness. So I'm just going to open my left receiving palm and just drop a few drops in there, and then just rub my hands together and then cup them over cup my hands over my nose and my mouth. Ah, and you want to, if you have a drum, or if you have tuning forks, or if you have what's called tingsas, those are like Tibetan bells, just walk around your room. You don't have to stay in one place or be seated. You can move some of that stuck energy by walking around or even clapping and making sure in every corner and every edge of your room, by your door, uh, by the floors, the ceilings, the windows, that everything is just open. Open up all your windows now. And we want to call the spirit of Michael and Merlin, or just Michael, or just Merlin in. And if you want, ask the highest version, the truest version of the enlightened, alchemical master, ascended master, the enlightened master Merlin, the wise magician of old, to lend you the power of his sword to sever ties that bind you unjustly, that bound you and your female ancestors for thousands of generations. You want to center yourself before your altar. Just imagine that this is a group altar, right? So we're sitting in a circle, and in the middle of the circle, right, you have all of the power objects. You have your white holy fire. You can also create a lavender flame. These are all etheric materials that we're bringing in. You have all your power crystals, your stones, your wands, this holy smoke. And I want you to take your symbolic sword. I'm going to use the most powerful one in my hand. I'm going to feel its power, and then connection to either Michael or Merlin, but we're doing Merlin now, right? And as you hold it, just visualize it glowing. Maybe take both. Glowing in both hands if you have two wands with a brilliant light, and you're charging it up with the purpose of cutting through these unwanted cords. And we're just reflecting. We're not forcing, we're not fighting, we're not struggling, we're not pushing the cords out and away from us. We're not labeling or judging the cords or the people attached to the cords. You're very, very neutral. Your heart space is neutral. And with clear intention, visualize swinging Merlin's sword now through each of your cords if you found more than one. And as you do, affirm your intention to release the attachment or attachments for you and your loved ones, for your highest good, for their highest good, for everyone's highest good. And you can say, with Merlin's sword, I sever this cord. And I want you to really go in every direction, forward, back of you, sides of you, left and right, above you, below your feet, severing all the cords that are stopping you, that are blocking you, that are entangling you, that are imprisoning and enslaving you. And all the versions of you in every lifetime, timeline, dimension, and reality. And ask to Have all your energy be freed up for your highest spiritual path. And imagine the places also where these cords were first attached. So not only the people, but the places and the spaces where you were together. So allow yourself, your strong, emboldened, steadfast, powerful, sovereign self, to know that you have the power to repair all of these wounds with your helpers, that you're not alone doing this ever. Placing your hand over your heart, thanking Merlin for his assistance in this ritual, acknowledging the release and the healing that has occurred, or at least the beginning of what can occur with your daily practice. And if you have a small offering, you can place it on our etheric altar or on your home altar, a small offering that Merlin would like. A cup, a bowl. Remember, we're filling up the bowl with salt water to protect us. You can place it in your bedroom while you're sleeping, in the bathroom, by your front door or back door. And you can also leave a gesture of gratitude, like a crystal, an herb, or a flower. But let's continue. I want you to start focusing on the sensations in your body, whatever they are. And just notice the energy moving. Notice where it's not moving. Notice where your body feels tense or heavy or achy, and where it feels light and open and airy. Once you're aware of all these areas in your body, which we tend to ignore, I want you to see if you can visualize the emotions that are stored in these places. These tight, like somebody was saying before, the fear of small, tight places. I want you to visualize your emotions stored there. What's the feeling? What's the sensation? And just breathe into the core of your body, the root, because we're clearing the cords at your root. It's not on the surface. It's not a temporary fix or a band-aid. We're going for the root, where it first began. Even if it didn't begin with you, which it probably didn't, and you know that's true, right? So notice the colors of the cords. Are they dark, murky, gray, dull? Or are they light, rosy, fluid, flowing? And notice if besides the cords, if there are any hooks, tags, plugs, or any imprinted attachments. And notice them floating above, and just actually push them out further and further away from your field, from your aura, from your bodies, all of the layers of your bodies. Just push them out. Notice what you notice. If there are any Velcro tags that have stuck to you, just pull them out. Any cords, any wires, like just pull them out and just throw them up. Give them to Merlin and Michael. And direct all of these unwanted energies back to wherever or whoever they came from telepathically, but with loving kindness, with grace and gratitude and appreciation for the lessons. I'm being guided to run a very powerful clearing that'll clear hundreds of stories or thousands of stories that you've been carrying around, that it's too late, that you'll always be betrayed, that people will sooner or later show their true colors and let you down, or be unfaithful, or cheat on you, or abuse you or neglect you or any of that stuff. Everything that is, we say cancel, clear, rich. And I want you to see if you can return all of these unwanted energies. You can say rich return and just coming back to your center. But anything that doesn't allow you to feel that the cord cutting can happen for you, are you willing to destroy and uncreate everything that is, all of that, all the energy that's tied up inside of you? Anywhere you're not willing to, I'm going to run a clearing statement now. It's called right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 100 shorts, boys, povids, creations, bases, and beyonds. And this is an access consciousness clearing statement, and it gets to the root of it all. So we're destroying and uncreating the root, the original creation where the cords began. And I want you to just tell every cell in your body that you love yourself, you love and accept every part of you, even the parts of you that have been corded. We could say Ho'oponopono to all the parts of you that have been corded, that have been hijacked, that have been gaslighted, that have been jailed, that have been punished, tortured, or tormented. And once you're finished, just sit in the space of stillness. And I'd like to call in also the goddess, the lioness goddess Sekhmet. She's coming in with her scepter and her thunderbolt energy, right? And she's kind of casting a spell to repel and banish any corded, tagged, attached energy that doesn't serve you. And we'll call on the celestial star Isis. And we're now moving into the higher dimensional energies from star Sirius. Okay. So I want you to breathe in a blue light, almost like a lapis lazuli crystal, the color of royal blue. We're going to call in all of the helpers besides Michael and Merlin. We'll call in all the spirit doctors. We're calling in all the earth helpers from Agartha, from Shambhala, Lord Adama. We're calling in all the spirit surgeons from the inner earth and the infrared and ultraviolet lights of star Sirius, of Atlantis, of Arcturus, of Venus. And I want you to just visualize these cords that were there before that you've just now cut or melted or dissolved. Feel what it feels like to be without them, especially the ones that were growing inside of you that were implanted or imprinted, that you might have been born with, that were passed on to you genetically, generationally. And I want you to ask your I am presence, your goddess head, to give you the most powerful cutting device that you'll be using to sever all the invisible hidden cords from that have been hiding from your view. So I want you to see yourself stepping out, loosening and unraveling all these cords that were pressurizing you, that were wrapped around your stomach, your gut, your heart, your throat. And see if you could sort of move in a counterclockwise way, moving that stuck energy and asking Michael and Merlin to loosen those cords, those ropes, the knots, unwind you, unravel you, but also to heal and seal the wounds, the openings, and to fill those wounds, those openings, the holes, rips, and tears with love, with light, with forgiveness and compassion, with kindness. And with the help of these angelic, ascended master protectors, we're going to ask them to seal your aura now, your astral body, your physical body with this angel honey, so that these forms of entities can no longer enter into your field ever again. We're going to use this protective shield and say thank you, I love you to the shield that Michael and Merlin are both giving you now. Now we're going to do a soul parts exchange. And I want you to, now that the cord is either melted or dissolved, you should be feeling like you could breathe more deeply and fully and slowly into these compromised spaces, into the very root and the beginning of where the cord was seated. Now we're calling not only, well, Michael's already here, but I want you to know that Michael is now bringing in, flying in the blue flame lightning angels. There are thousands of blue flame lightning angels, and they're coming in with their angel honey and with these diamond daggers that are just cutting away all non-beneficial energy. And I want you to rub your hands together really, really fast now. And the hot, hot, hot healing hands. Place your healing hands above or on those areas that feel the weakest, the most vulnerable. I want you to ask Michael, Merlin, and the blue flame lightning angels, the mighty blue eagle. These are all helpers from Sirius Star, from Star Sirius, the Star Sirius, to help you to discover if the root of the cord is inside or outside of you. I want you to imagine that you have the powers and the magic and the wizardry and the alchemy of Merlin, or someone like Merlin, that you are magical, right? And I want us to together co-create an even safer, more intimate space where we could really drop fully into our hearts without any fear, worry, doubt, or anxiety. And breathing into your lower bodies, into your womb, your hara, your dantian, go ahead and make a mudra, which looks like this. So it's like an upside down triangle. And I want you to place your thumbs above your belly button and the rest of your hands below your belly button. This is the storage house of your trapped emotions and numb or buried difficult feelings. So I want you to just breathe there and notice what you notice. And if you notice that it feels tight or bloated or dense or sticky or heavy, go ahead and ask your helpers to reach inside, like Michael's wings, his blue and silver iridescent wings, and then Merlin's wands and scepters, right? To just reach inside, to melt them, but to also extract them, to scoop them up and out, and to remove any remaining residual energy from the other people, places, or situations that you were once attached to, which felt like it was permanently, knowing that you've changed this, you've redesigned this, you've transmuted this. And I want you to telepathically tell the other people on the other side of that cord that were holding that cord in place, right? That wouldn't let go. I want you to tell them now, your higher self and theirs, I'm willing to let go. Please let go of your side. I've already let go of my side. And let that tug of war stop once and for all. Stop fighting yourself and others. Just let it go. Drop it. And when you let go of your end, they have to let go of their end too. So they're still with you, and I want you to give them any soul parts that you're still holding from them in hopes that secretly one day you'll be together again. It could be a relative, it could be a romantic partner, it could be a really, really close platonic friend or a teacher. Tell them that and ask them, demand for your soul pieces to come back. And I want you to allow space in your system for all of those versions of you, your gifts, your truth, your trust, your innocence, your beauty, your intelligence, your wisdom to all flood in, to all come back. So make space inside for all of those parts of you that broke off and froze to come back. And they're now coming back into that hole, which was once a cord. So I want you to grab those parts of you back and make sure that there's no remnant of these other people that you're holding. So you've done a soul parts exchange now. And the blue flame lightning angels, mighty blue eagle, all of Michael's helpers are also helping to find any missing parts of you that have gone astray in this life or in any other timeline or lifetime. Okay, good. Okay, what I'm going to do now, before we end the call today, I want to check in and see how everyone is feeling right now. Susan says, my right hand has been very achy and painful the last few days. Yeah. So is there a cord there? Or are there multiple cords? Let's apply the knowledge that I just taught you, and I want you to tell me what's going on. Now, what happened a few days ago when it first started? What were the circumstances? You can type in the chat box if you want. Was there anything that changed in your relationship dynamic with your partner? And just notice, okay, I'm not going to get upset. Yeah, there's a cord. It's just energy, right? I can transmute that. I have the helpers now. I have my higher self that I'm reconnected with. I can remove those cords. I can melt those cords with my own free will. Susan said, a small cord. What, each of your fingers represents, because I teach trauma tapping as well, a different organ in your body and also your nervous system. So is it your pinky? Is it your ring finger? Which finger is it? Small cord. And where does it wrap around? And where does it start? This should be easy enough to remove because it's a small cord. But just notice, what color is the cord? What shape is the cord? What texture is the cord? What does the cord want to say to you? What's the message? Because remember, cords aren't something to fear. It's just something to notice and free yourself from because it's not natural. It's not a part of you. But it is an indicator of a lesson that you haven't learned yet or a reminder. It has its own wisdom, but it's nothing to be afraid of, right? So yeah, Susan's tapping into that. Good. So let's wait. And Maya, you're free to chime in too. Maya says, I'm feeling good now. There's a lot gone. Yay. Awesome. I like to hear that. Thank you, Maya. By the way, that was my cat's name. Maya was my first cat that I ever had, and she transitioned in 2018, June 2018. So I'd like to send her a lot of love today. So this is a positive cord, right? So that's a positive, loving cord that I never want to give up. I never want to cut that cord, right? So it's very important to distinguish positive cord or negative cord. So, Susan, take your time. I don't want you to rush into this because I have another treat before we end the call. Oh, good. Second finger, right hand. Right is masculine, right? So it's the patriarchy, it's the male energy, which we've discussed before in sessions. Old ancient remembrance could be a male ancestor. And what is the, so do you think it represents the unhealed masculine? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do a final work here to integrate everything that we've done today. So are you willing to receive that? Anywhere you're not willing to? Rich? What was that? Clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all 100. All 100 are all the stories, hundreds of stories that we tell ourselves, and our false personalities that create the stories, and the false stories that create the false personalities. And then shorts, boys, poveds, creations, bases, and beyonds. I'll give you the website if you really want to know what all of that means, but when you say it, it clears everything from the point of creation. So it can't keep reverberating and playing out. Maya says, I feel clean now. I'm getting the chills now, which means, yes, you are clean now. You are very clean now. So let me see if I could share the screen one last time here. And I want to go to the slideshow and go to the last slide. Let me see. Hold on one second. Oh, here we go. Slideshow, current slide. There we go. I imagine you can see this now. Can you see the screen? Okay, good. So I'm going to send you the PowerPoint presentation, and this is embedded with light codes from Michael and Merlin. If you look, it's almost like they're moving, and the center is your world, okay? So I just wanted to share this with you because this is another form of meditation, cord clearing, and integration. And this will help to ground you after your cord clearing sessions as well. I love Merlin, the version, this depiction of Merlin, very handsome. And Michael looks like he, it's very hard to find really great pictures, but you know, use your imagination. You don't, I love the way they look. I love the colors. I love the symbols and the sacred geometry and the sword of light in the middle. But I was going to say Michael could looks like he could stand to put on a few pounds. He looks very thin. So that's just my joking around. So, okay, a little humor is very healing. So please allow yourself to have a good belly laugh now and then. So, okay, right now I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes and go inside again. And we're going to go on a last journey. So this is really great. I'm really so glad that you joined me today. All right, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, or two thumbs up. Good. You can close your eyes and you could really recline and lay back, like, oh, this feels good. I could just let go. You can go grab a blanket and a pillow if you like, because I really want you to get cozy. Okay, good. So again, see if there's any residual cords left, because remember I said there could be hundreds or thousands because we've lived thousands of lifetimes. Is there something that your soul still needs to experience that you still, stubborn you, haven't really gotten yet? Something you haven't been willing to look at. So see if there are any cords just Get out your pendulum if you need to, or scan your hands again over your body, over your full body, the front and back of every chakra, and just breathe deeply into this open space. And notice that Michael, I also like to call him Michael. Michael is swirling around you, flying around you, expanding and opening your heart, expanding your field with his presence. So now you're almost as big as Michael, as vast and infinite as Archangel Michael. And see, imagine that you're turning blue, sapphire blue, and there's blue lights, neon blue lights all around you, right? You have blue light bulbs everywhere. And Michael is surrounding you with this vibrant blue light. It's gentle, yet it feels so protective. He's really providing for you, even if you never had that from the men in your life, right? Especially the first man, your father, the father figure. So allow yourself to really witness the strength of Michael and his blue flaming sword of truth, sovereignty, and liberation. And just give him any remaining thin or thick, small or large, dark or light cords that are still somehow stuck to you. Even though you got a whole bunch of cords off, right? Notice how it feels to be cordless. Our phones are cordless, so why shouldn't we be? I mean, we're crystals, right? We have that technology, the crystal technology. So what if you could be cordless? And if there are any, just ask Michael to please, with so much gratitude, detach from any remaining cords until you feel more and more in that safe space, in your happy place. And you can even imagine with your inner eye, your mind's eye, you're witnessing these cords one by one, dropping, falling, and melting away. They're falling at your feet, they're around your ankles, and now they're just dissolving. Remember, they're fading into light, into white light. Fading and they're dissolving, they're disappearing into thin air. And just say, Michael, whatever it is that I can't see that I'm still wearing blinders around, please help me to see it and take it. Not only take it, but transmute it into something better. This poison into medicine, this pain into peace. And just watch this being done for you on your behalf from the healed masculine, telling you you're always enough, right? And as your mind settles down, your thoughts quiet, right? You can fall into that gap between your thoughts, that sweet spot, that 0 point, right? Begin to ask yourself, who does the Grail serve? Become aware of the space around you. Maybe you'll notice a peaceful lake, being that we have the Lady of the Lake on the call. She's already in the lake. So can you invite us to be in your lake, to share, to swim in your waters, in your lush forest? You realize that you're moving more and more, deeper and deeper into the lake's sandy shore. You can almost smell the scent of pine and eucalyptus and the trees, the old yew trees. Everything feels restorative. And as you walk along this path, you almost feel a flurry of excitement as a drawbridge begins to lower in front of you. And it invites you into this magical, magnificent castle filled with this radiant glow, almost like a kaleidoscope of colors, of rainbow light. And then the drawbridge, let it close behind you. Now you recognize that you've definitely entered another dimension, another realm. And it feels surreal and sublime at the same time. But there are waves of colors and energies, and all of a sudden, you notice 4 attendants waiting for you. But they're made of light, pure light. And they pass with you and through you from one room into another room, and all the rooms are made of light. Everything is transparent and it's translucent, and you are just light. And you give yourself permission to reparent your inner child and experience a divine downpour, releasing all that no longer serves you in this waterfall of energy. And all of this, the heaviness and burdens begin to unburden, begin to loosen, dissolve, and wash away in this beautiful lake, this beautiful waterfall all around you. You're being cleansed, cleared, and purified from the inside out. And as you step out of that waterfall that's made of these brilliant starlit flames, you notice a gold flame, which is Archangel Metatron, and now an emerald flame next to it, which is Archangel Raphael. And then next to that is a sapphire flame, which is Archangel Michael. And then next to that is a diamond flame, which is Archangel Gabriel. You're being escorted into this great hall whose walls are shimmering, and the ceiling is glowing like a giant star. But each one of your helpers, your protectors, are made of light, and they're all composed of the healthy and safe masculine. Before you, Metatron stands in a shower of golden light. And then to the right, Raphael holding a crystal rod, Michael holding a sword of light, Gabriel holding a chalice made of stone, the Grail. Notice if you could sense the presence of the Grail, and just breathe, allowing your attention to move back to Metatron, who says, I am here with you, both within you and without you, all around you, every particle of your being. There is no boundary between you and I. There is only light. So allow any remaining armor to fall away. In this moment, you are willing to give up everything. Everything. Everything is now delivered to you. And all 4 angels are burning brighter, granting you everything that you've ever desired, lifting out of you the tiny embers and allowing you to flow into a giant crystal that floats between you and Metatron. Notice any resistance coming up now, if any. Say thank you to the resistance. Tell the resistance, hello, I see you. I know you're there, and I know you're just trying to protect me, but I'm good now. I no longer need you. I no longer need to get courted to people that are not good for me. So place all your cares, your burdens, your worries, everything passed on to you into this crystal, and watch it grow bigger and bigger. Feel your I am presence growing stronger and stronger, and watching that crystal beaming brilliant light upon you, exposing all the areas that you've been hiding. All the shadows become light. You find yourself now in a pillar, a pyramid of shimmering light, and the divine feminine is nurturing you, is holding you, is blessing you, is supporting you. The divine feminine is your portal to source, the grail itself, the mother, divine mother, the point of entry and exit. So allow yourself to receive any messages now from Divine Mother, from Shekinah, from Mary, Maria, Magdalena, all the Marys, the Sarahs, all the patron saints, the female archeas, the twin complements of the archangels. And allow yourself to swim in this ocean of light. Begin to rise up, up, higher up, but back into your body, ready to meet Master Merlin and drink from this holy chalice. Find your inner holy grail again. Receive what you've lost or what was taken in every lifetime. And Master Merlin calls you to the sacred lands of Avalon. And let go of all the lies, the stories that have ever blocked your power or prevented you from accessing your blueprint of magic, and allow yourself to connect with all of the wise and well mystics, and to be that love and to restore your codes that have been distorted, and to sit and to be held in the heart of Mama Gaia, coming back to drink from the sacred well of Avalon through the mists. We get to meet him, the true version of Merlin once more, the original Merlin. As Merlin slowly steps in, softly yet steadfastly, allow yourself to turn to gaze into Merlin with his long white hair and his wizard robes and his tall hat. And the Merlin that we are inviting in has a huge grin on his face. His eyes are twinkling with light, with love, with glee. And you hear him say, "Feel my cloak around you, this cloak of magic, of mystery, of beauty and wonder." And he extends a hand, and you feel yourself gently lifted in the air, flying toward the island in the middle of your lake. The lady of the lake. You are the lady of the lake. You are the sun. You are the moon. You are the land, the water. You are every animal, every plant, every crystal. And Merlin's now waving you toward a sacred oak tree, a sequoia or a yew, thousands of years old. And he says, "I'm honoring you as a magician that you are, that you once were, so you could live a full life again. But you've forgotten your wand. So go ahead and grab it and feel the power building in your wand that you have now reclaimed. Pick up your wand, get ready to create magic. No longer believing that struggle is necessary or required in this lifetime in your body. Ask Merlin to remind you and teach you in dream time about the secrets of alchemy, about how to transmute any situation for the good, for the highest good. And allow Merlin's energy as you sit back in your chair to stay with you, to gently wrap around you, to comfort you, to never leave you. And coming back into your body and asking for a full and asking the results and the benefits of this full body cord cutting clearing to last for as long as it needs to. Understanding the lessons behind the cords, keeping the positive, releasing the negative, transmuting the negative into positive, healing your relationships so you can either choose to stay and heal or to leave and move on. So thanking and bowing to Merlin, Michael, and all of the archangels, feminine, masculine, female, male, so we can become the perfect blend, the harmonious blend and embodiment of the safe, soft yet strong, feminine and masculine. Thank you. So when you come back, just tap yourself. You could brush your any energy that may feel like it's on top of you, brushing it down, crossing your arms together, rewiring, right? And then moving some energy, rubbing your hands together, just grounding into your body and just bringing that energy down and knowing that Merlin and Michael are always with you and you have all the tools you need in your new magic toolbox to use now and in the future. And you could pass these tools to your children, your relations, your grandchildren, your friends, and anyone who is suffering needlessly. So thank you so much for joining me today. Would you like to unmute your mic and share your experience, your journey? I would love to hear it.
That
Susan?
was really magical and beautiful to be back in Avalon.
Yes, for me too. Remember that when you give, you receive, just like with Reiki. So I release a lot of cords as well. And I definitely feel the shift. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that you do too. So how many lifetimes did you have in Avalon?
Oh, I don't know that right now. But I did get my
Soon.
crystal wand back.
Well, let's ask Susan's higher self to come in.
Okay.
Susan's higher self, immortal soul knows everything. There's nothing that this Susan doesn't know. So what is it that this Susan knows? How many lifetimes? Greater than one, less than 10, greater than 20, 5? What's the number?
3.
Just 3. There you go. That's a good number. 3 is a good number for the Trinity. So that's a good number. Yeah, everything they say comes in threes, doesn't it?
I mean, when we went to the castle with the moat and the
Yes.
drawbridge and everything, it was like, oh, I've been here.
Yep. It was familiar, right?
Yes, very.
Familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me
Thank
too.
you, Vandana.
Thank you, Susan. Maya, would you
Thank
like
you,
to share?
Maya. I'm sorry. Thank you, Maya.
Her
I
name
get
is
mixed up
Maya.
with my dog. She's Mia.
Maya's throwing kisses. Thank you,
Mwah.
Maya. Maya, where do you live? Are you in the United States or abroad? I don't even, because I don't think we've ever been together in this lifetime before. I think this is the first time. So let's see. You can chat it in if you don't want to be on the mic. Maya says, thank you very much. I feel so clean now. That's awesome.
Yeah, much lighter.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Belgium. Oh, that's right. You did mention that you're in Belgium. So send us the energy of the Belgian waffles and chocolate. I think we could use some of that right now. And please keep in touch and make sure that you're subscribed to my website so you don't miss any new events that are coming up. I have a couple of new books that I just published, so I'm an Amazon author now. But there is one about poverty contracts, like soul contracts. If you're having any struggles with finances, I recommend that book. And I have a book for your inner child, a coloring book that I designed and created
Aw,
myself. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's coming up in the future, but please, if you have any ideas or if you need anything special, I think we will just have some clearing calls coming up. But it's good for me to have feedback. So please, if you think about it, and there's something special that you feel like I could do for you, I could facilitate for you, just let me know. But I wait for the messages and the downloads to come in. But right now they're saying just take a pause. So that's what I'm going to respect this message. I'm going to take a pause until at least for another week because a lot of people are also away in the summer. So we'll do that. But I feel like a program might be, like a practitioner program might be good. But yeah, send me your ideas and I would love to hear them.
I'm
So
going to
I'll send.
send you my most up-to-date email so that I make sure I get your information.
Okay. Do you have a different email now?
I do,
Oh,
because we changed servers from,
oh, that's why you didn't receive the Zoom
that's why I
link.
wasn't getting
Oh,
them. So I will send that to you.
yes, please do. And Maya, I believe I have your email address. It's current, right? And then tomorrow you'll receive the replay and you'll receive the PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, and then you could do this on your own at home anytime. And
Awesome.
it's lifetime access, so it never
Goes
it
away.
never runs out. Yeah, the energy never dwindles. So it's great. Anyway, have
Thank
a
you. Thank
beautiful
you.
rest of your day. Thank you, ladies, sisters. Mwah. Love you
Bye.
so much. Okay. Bye-bye.